Homestead Grandma here. I have been using my seam ripper for over an hour, ripping off this border on a quilt that was done wrong. I did it wrong, so I'm having to rip it. And when you rip, of course, it takes a long time. But this is my mustache trimmer. I got it out, and the first side I ripped off took about an hour and a half. And so far, I have 6 minutes into this side. I may have to use the seam ripper to get that apart. But I ordered they call them cake squares. They're 10-inch squares. And they call it a layer cake. And so I ordered 2 or 3 of those to put together to make this quilt. Some of those I'll be able to, some of the ones left over I'll be able to use on this little girl's brother's quilt, which will be coming out in a year and a half or so, but I haven't started it yet. So this is going to take a minute, so I'm going to turn you off and catch up with you again later. I am quilting this Christmas baby quilt on my domestic machine. What you have to do this is a hopping foot or a quilting foot. This allows you to lower the feed dogs, which mine lower right here, and then you can pull up the bobbin thread, which I will do here. You pull it up by inserting the needle and pulling it out, and there's my bobbin thread. I'm going to tie a knot by stitching in place about 3 stitches. It's hard to watch what I'm doing and watch what the camera's doing at the same time, but I'm getting there. So 1, 2, 3. Now the next thing that you need, I ironed it multiple times on this table. I used to have an ironing cloth to cover it, and I need to order one, but I got rid of it because it was going into storage, and I figured it would just get eaten up by rodents and bugs anyway, but it is better to have that. But actually, ironing through the batting and 2 layers of fabric seemed to be an okay move. I have these quilting gloves. You can get them. These are from Fons & Porter. I got them back in the day when Joann's was around, and I cut the fingertips off because I have to feel the fabric as I go. So you use these gloves to pull the quilt in the shapes that you want to quilt, and watch out for pins, because I did pin it. That hurt. I felt it right away. Well, now I gotta take care of that. So I ran out of bobbin, and I had to rethread, and my thread is broken a couple of times, so I realized I was running out of my top thread. The bobbin on a long arm machine is much bigger, so you don't run out nearly as much. But on your domestic, you just have your regular old bobbin. So it ran out. I took it out, refilled it, cleaned it, rethreaded the machine with new thread because I was running low on thread too. On domestic quilting, you start in the center, which, if I remember right, was right, oh, I don't remember. But anyway, I started in the center, and I moved out, and I moved this way, and I'm actually getting a pretty good center. I've missed this quilt square, so I'm going to start with this one when I put it back on the machine. I took it off. I've ironed it again. With the long arm, you have the actual frame stretching your quilt, and your binding and your backing are loose. So there's really not much risk of getting a pucker in your quilting. But when you're doing it on a domestic, every stitch has the potential for making a pucker. So when I take it off, I go ahead and iron it again. I smooth rumples out. Can you see the rumple flowing ahead of my hand? That's what you don't want. You don't want to catch one of those rumple things and ripples and turn it into a pucker by stitching it down. So I take it off, I iron it again, and I'm fixing to load it back in the machine and start with this butterfly square. It's got quilting on this side of it and some on this side and below it. So I'm going to go up from here and spread out. I'm getting close to the border on this side. Once you get close to the border, you don't have to roll up as much of the quilt. You can kind of work from the edges in. Well, you're working from the edges, but you're still working out this direction towards the edges. But you don't have to have that big, huge log rolled up inside your machine throat. So, I know some of you are more interested in cattle and chickens than quilts, but you know, I'm a well-rounded homesteader, so I thought I'd throw this in. Well, it's been about 10 minutes, and I started sewing, and I broke a needle. Yeah, this is normal. There is not a day in the life of a sewer that you don't have issues. Empty bobbins, and you're sewing nothing. Mine, you install with the flat part of the needle to the back. So I'm holding it in place, and then I will try to get this shorty screwdriver and turn it. And the thing with quilting on your domestic machine is you're going to have these things more because this domestic machine wasn't really built for quilting. So as I move the quilt under the needle, sometimes if I say, probably what happened was I moved the quilt when the needle was down and it just snapped. And that's what happens because you don't have a stitch regulator telling you, you know, when to move or coordinating your efforts, and you have to just move as you feel it. Threading the needle here. Well, anyway, you just move as you feel the quilt needing to move, and you'll snap a needle. You'll run out of bobbin. I'll run out of bobbins again. I mean, it's going to happen. But so if you try this, just expect an interruption every 10 to 15 minutes. And take that 10 to 15 minutes to shake out your arms, loosen up your muscles, go get some tea, and start again. Just be patient and keep going. Okay, needle broke again. Twice. I'm down to one in this packet. Fortunately, I keep a good stock of needles on hand at all times because you never know when this is going to happen. And especially, it seems like the more you want to get done in a hurry, like I need to get this done so I can bind it today because tomorrow I'm baking off 4 recipes of scones. Well, this is what happens. The more you want it to hurry, the more it slows down. So I took a break, went and got me some vanilla chai iced tea, took a few sips, relaxed a little bit, and now I'm trying to reset and continue this project so I can get it done, and then get the binding done, and then make the scones, and then make my Christmas present for the people we're exchanging gifts with. So there you go. I have rolled up excess parts of the quilt to go through the neck of my machine. I have the rest of the quilt stacked over here, and it has gone through the machine and is backed up into my sewing hutch right there. Now, I don't think I would want to try this on a king. I'd probably quilt it by hand first because there's a lot of wrestling and you will get hot and sweaty. And it's December, but I did turn my air conditioner on for this. So this is what I'm up to today, and I will probably spend the rest of the day doing this. And we'll check back in when it's feed time. But yes, homesteaders develop a lot of skills, and we need them and we use them. And if you want to learn anything, if you have questions about quilting, sewing, knitting, crocheting, baking, any questions, if you have information, like if I say something stupid and you notice it about my cows or something, let me know. I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm just showing you what I'm trying. So hang in there with what you're doing. Even if you're a city person, just enjoying watching what we do here. It can be interesting. It's never a dull moment, homesteading. And I will talk to y'all later.